Introducing Apple Vision Pro. Interact with digital content.
Apple Vision Pro starts at $34.99.
Apple Watch ceramic, baby.
You sold the kidney for that?
Yeah. Hey, yeah, honey?
Hello?
How's it going? I was just wondering, how's your kidney doing?
My kidney? What? Why?
You can never be too careful with these things, you know? Just want to make sure, you're taking good care of it, at least until beginning of 2024.
That's specific. Why though?
Also, I'm just buying us some new water bottles, okay? Stay hydrated, gotta take care of them kidneys.
Is everything all right?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Yeah, you'll know when it's time. You'll feel it.
Wait, feel.
So you've all seen Apple's brand new Vision Pro headset by now, so I'm not really going to get into the specs or anything like that. I want to more so have a conversation with you guys about what I think the impact of all of this is going to have on tech, on society in general. Is this the future? Are cell phones dead? It's a little dramatic. But look, one thing's for sure, watching this reveal, I've never been as conflicted about a product. So let's go ahead and unpack this. Firstly, I am very, very impressed with the actual product. I think Apple has something here. You're essentially taking the screen from your iPhone or Mac and bringing it into reality, making it any size, anywhere. Thus the phrase mixed reality. Now, tell me this doesn't sound dystopian to you. You basically point with your eyes, you swipe with your fingers, and you type with your voice. It's basically changing the way humans interact with the digital world. Kind of like when we went from pressing buttons to a multi-touch interface on phones. And some of the use cases of this sound super impressive, and I am genuinely excited for. Like, imagine being on a plane, but now you're able to put this on and you have your own personal movie theater with like this huge screen and you can just blank out everything around you. Or you're working and instead of paying to buy multiple monitors, you can just have as many monitors as you please. You can play video games on it. You can have like live conference calls on it. You can watch sports, and my God, being able to watch sports that way, that looks really sick. Even turn your computer into a screen in mixed reality, bringing your computer screen to life. But look, before I get into the actual device, I want to talk about some of the concerns that I've had. While watching the keynote, I did find certain parts a little bit concerning, and I feel that it speaks to society as a whole when they showed like the father's basically having like these headsets on and he's interacting with these children. And look, Apple's probably trying to show that the whole benefit of having your eyes being displayed on the other side of the headset so you can kind of still interact with people with it on, but it just gives me very absentee father vibes. Like at one point they mentioned like you can keep this headset on during good moments and take photos and videos with it, and then you can just relive those moments later on. But did you really live that moment in the first place? Did you actually have that memory? Because the first time when you're experiencing it, you're already looking at it through a screen. And also, what about the other people in that room and their memories and their moments? Like, can you just imagine it's like your kid's birthday party and you have family and your kid and everyone all around, and you have this headset on and all your kid sees and remembers from this memory is you looking like this. And this kind of leads to my larger concern with mixed reality in general. So this is not really a critique of the Apple headset, but just the actual VR AR space. And it's that in the pursuit of connecting people who are at a distance, are we distancing ourselves from those who are actually nearby? Because you put this thing on and it's just you. You're isolated into this whole world, which is frankly not actual reality. So what if people actually start preferring to do things in virtual reality rather than actually go out and hang out and experience things in person with other people, because they just rather do it in their pajamas while sitting on the couch, because frankly, that's much more comfortable. So my fear is that if we continue down this path, what if we just become much more isolated and just live life in our own online reality where real life isn't just as good anymore for us? And also, what if the communities that you're forming online are all people that just think like you? Because we're naturally tend to try to create communities of like-minded people, so that now you're just having this confirmation bias and living in this bubble where you think that the world reflects your point of view and your thoughts, and you just don't get that diversity anymore. I don't know, maybe I'm just getting way too philosophical for this, but yeah, these are just some of the things that have been on my mind. So aside from that social impact, like, have we actually done research on the impact this is going to have on our eyes and our brain over time? Like, we already have record high dopamine addictions to devices at arm's length, and now we're basically basically strapping them on directly to our eyeballs. Do we really want this as our future if we're already having record high ADHD issues, already having record high depression and anxiety issues and mental health issues in general, and we want more screens and more information overload directly on our eyes? I'd just love to hear your thoughts on this as well. Maybe I'm thinking too much, but yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. Okay, now let's actually talk about the product as well and the headset. In terms of the technology, I love it. I absolutely love innovative technology, and I think Apple's done a great job here. It looks great and it seems very promising. But let's first address the elephant in the room. The price. Okay, yes, we all know this is $3,500, but before I share my thoughts, I'm curious to know what you guys think about this. What are your thoughts? Do you think it's a fair price or do you think it's overpriced? Let me know in the comment section down below. So here's the thing. In order to actually tell whether a product is overpriced or not, there's a few things we need to look at. Like firstly, who's the target market Apple's actually going for here? What's the type of industry that they're dropping this product in? You see, with products like this, there's a lot of R&D, research and development that goes into this. And usually during these phases, companies rack up a lot of expenses for years on end. And when they finally release the product, they need to try to justify all of the expenses that they have just incurred for years. So usually what tech companies do is they will position the very first version of their product as a premium top of the line product, and they'll charge top dollar for it. This is because the target market is enthusiasts and early adopters, and they know these people are going to buy at those prices because they care about innovation and they care about buying the latest and greatest tech to try out. The company will then use the funds that they get from this to develop more affordable versions that will come down the road. We've seen this strategy time and time again with companies like Tesla, where they released the Roadster and Model S and eventually led up to the Model 3, or even with the Samsung Fold devices, where they introduced the Fold lineup and it was a little bit more expensive, and after several iterations we have the Fold and the Flip, and now they're reducing the pricing as well, which is why you'll see even Apple's headset is called Vision Pro. Apple Vision would have made a lot more sense for their first product, but what Apple's clearly trying to do is identify their target market and tell people that we're going after the prosumers. Like, think about it. Pros have been spending much more on devices like MacBook Pros, where the baseline entry-level 16-inch MacBook Pro is about $2,500, or for people in media production, some of our cameras and lenses itself cost us anywhere from $2,000 to $7,000 each. Now, considering the amount of cameras and technology that they've built into this thing, I kind of honestly expected the price tag to be around here even before launch, and I have proof, I have receipts. So my recommendation is don't focus so much so on the price, but focus more so on the technology and where we think it's headed, because clearly this is an indication that Apple thinks this is where society is going. And we've seen this with other companies like Meta as well, who's been pushing millions and millions of dollars into this industry for years now. Next, I want to talk about whether I think this can actually be useful in our daily lives. Now, I'm going to mention quickly some of the issues that I've had with previous VR headsets. So some of the issues include eye discomfort over time. That's going to be something that I'm very curious to see how it actually is when I get to try it on. But nonetheless, I don't think this has much to do with the type of technology, and more so it has to do with the fact that you basically have a screen strapped onto your eyeballs. So that eye fatigue factor will probably still be there, but yeah, we'll confirm that once we actually get it in hand. Number two, headsets get heavy over time. Even with something as light as this, like, it's all made of plastic, but this takes a toll on your neck and your head. This is something I'm very curious to try with the Apple headset, but seeing as that the entire body is made of metal and watching early impressions of people who have actually tried it on, they've all mentioned that weight is potentially a factor here. And being that it's metal, I would wager it's probably heavier than the other VR headsets that we have on market. Like, there's a reason why all these other headsets are using plastic bodies. It's not that they're cheap, it's just that it's a much lighter material, and you want to stick with lighter materials when you have something that you're putting on your head for longer periods of time. The third issue is the lack of clarity. I've tried several different headsets and they kind of vary with clarity and how you position the headset. All the early impressions I've seen, this is something that apparently has definitely improved. All my friends who've tried it on have said the same thing. They're speechless at how good everything looks. So I think Apple might have done a good job here. Lag and latency. This is another area that I think Apple has done excellent in, by adding in both an M2 as well as an R1 chip. So this thing is very heavily powered, allowing this to have a really fast refresh rate. I think Apple said like 11 milliseconds, which is going to give you a much smoother, lifelike experience when you're actually using it to render your surroundings and atmosphere. Number 5, battery life. Now, Apple touts this having 2-hour battery life, which yeah, it's less than ideal. A lot of the keynote was focused on using this for movies and shows and stuff like that, but you won't even be able to get through Avatar without the battery running out, which means you need to connect the battery to an external power or find a bigger battery bank. Now, if you couple all of these points together, it brings me to my biggest issue with these VR headsets, and that is actual real life usage. As much as I always think I'm gonna buy this and I'm gonna use it, but from my experience with Oculus Rifts and Meta Quest and all of that stuff, after I got it, the novelty kind of wears off after a week or so, and using it just ends up being more of a hassle. Like you have to wear something on your eyes and your head, and my eyes start getting fatigued and my head and neck start hurting from the weight, and then you need to make sure that it's charged, etc., etc. All these little things kind of add up to make the quality of life not really that much better by using a headset, and you just end up reverting to the regular, good old TV screen or computer screen, which brings me to my number 1 fear, and that is spending $3,500 USD or about $62,000 Canadian, and that product literally becoming another paperweight until somebody comes over and I can show them the cool factor of this and demo something different to them. Okay, now look, all that being said, I do believe that Apple's headset is going to be a little bit different from all my previous experiences, and that's largely due to the ecosystem benefits. See, when I was using Oculus Rift or Meta Quest, there's not a lot of apps that I use in my daily life that are available for me or work well in that Meta ecosystem. However, a lot of the apps that I do use on a daily basis are all in the Apple ecosystem, and being able to use those, I think, will make a big difference. Furthermore, now that Apple's actually headed in this direction, it's without a doubt a lot more developers are going to start producing things for that viewing experience on the Vision Pro. Like, it is going to come, it has to come, like that's the Apple effect. So all in all, if Apple figures out a way to make this thing actually contribute to better productivity with fewer pain points, because I accept there are going to be pain points, it's the first iteration of the product. If we can minimize those pain points just enough to make that overall experience better, I think Apple may just have a winner on its hands. And this could very well be the future of how society interacts with each other in the real world. So if you really think about it, this could technically become the hammer that Apple's bringing to eventually phase out even their own iPhones or phones in general. Think how fast smartphone technology developed like over this last decade. I mean, give it like 5 to 10 years and it could look literally something from this, what we have now, to like this. Just put on these like glasses and you do all your social media calls, viewing videos, everything through your glasses, and you don't even need like a phone or external screen. So yeah, kind of cool to think about, yet scary. But in any case, I'll definitely be grabbing a pair of these Apple Vision Pros. So make sure you guys are sub to this channel. If you like this video, you'll definitely like these other ones over here. I'll see you guys there.